class we have discussed regarding the basic terms of thermodynamics. In that we have discussed system, surrounding, types of processes, types of thermodynamic properties, and then laws of thermodynamics. In that, zeroth law and first law of thermodynamics we have discussed. In today's class we will discuss regarding the spontaneous processes and criteria for the spontaneous processes, enthalpy change, entropy change, Gibbs free energy change, and then the second law of thermodynamics. So let us start with spontaneous processes. Spontaneous processes are the processes which have natural tendency to take place of their own without the help of any external agency. Such processes are called spontaneous processes. Processes which have natural tendency to take place of their own without the help of any external agency. Such processes are called spontaneous processes. And the examples for the spontaneous processes are: water flows from high level to low level. And another one example, the combustion of fuels. These all are the spontaneous processes. Spontaneous processes means processes which have natural tendency to take place of their own without the help of any external agency. Such processes are called the spontaneous processes. Examples are the flow of water from higher level to the low level, or the combustion of fuels. Enthalpy and spontaneity. Next we will go for enthalpy and spontaneity. Enthalpy and spontaneity. What is enthalpy? Enthalpy is the amount of energy, the total amount of energy present in a system. Enthalpy is the total amount of energy present in a system, and it is represented by H. H is equal to U minus PV, where U is the internal energy. It is the sum of internal energy and pressure volume energy. And in terms of enthalpy, how we will describe the process is spontaneous or not. So to explain the spontaneous processes on the base of enthalpy change, we will take exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Now, what are the exothermic reactions? Exothermic means where the heat will be liberated. Exothermic reactions where the heat is liberated and the change in enthalpy will be negative. The change in enthalpy is negative. And endothermic reactions means endothermic reactions are the reactions where heat is absorbed and the change in enthalpy is positive. And on the basis of this enthalpy change, how you are explaining this process will be spontaneous or not means if the energy decreases or the enthalpy decreases, then the change in enthalpy will be negative. The process is spontaneous. The process is spontaneous. But Some of the endothermic reactions are also spontaneous. For example, the evaporation of water. You can take the example. Evaporation of water, where change in enthalpy is positive 44 kilojoule per mole. Here the enthalpy change is positive, heat is absorbed even though it is an endothermic reaction, but it is considered as a spontaneous process. So the criteria which explains that the change in energy, change in enthalpy is negative for the spontaneous processes, that criteria fails because some of the endothermic reactions are also spontaneous. So the next concept we have taken into consideration to explain the spontaneous processes, that is disorder and spontaneity. To explain the disorder and spontaneity, example we will take. For example, take a water in a beaker. Add 1 drop of ink to this water present in a beaker. What happens? This 1 drop of ink spreads all over the water present in a beaker. So the ink mixes with the water present in a beaker. After that, we will not get back that original drop of ink. What happens? On mixing, the randomness increases or the disorder increases. On mixing, the randomness increases or the disorder increases. So the spontaneous processes move towards the more disorder. The spontaneous processes move towards the more disorder. When the ink mixes with the water present in a beaker, it is a spontaneous process because the randomness increases or the disorder increases. So spontaneous processes tends to move towards the more disorder. So on the basis of disorder and enthalpy, how we will explain the given process is it spontaneous or not. So the 3 points we are taken into consideration. The first one is if change in enthalpy is negative, both the factors are favorable. If change in enthalpy is negative and randomness is more, the process will be spontaneous. The process will be spontaneous. The change in enthalpy is negative, randomness is also more, both the factors are favorable here, and then the process is spontaneous. Example for that is dissolution of sodium hydroxide. Dissolution of sodium hydroxide in water. Sodium hydroxide dissolution in water. The change in enthalpy will be negative. So the process is spontaneous because randomness is also more. So if both the factors are favorable, enthalpy, change in enthalpy factor is also favorable, randomness is more, this factor is also favorable, then the process is spontaneous. And in next point, if both the factors are unfavorable, for example, delta H is positive and randomness is less. Randomness is less or disorder is less, then the process is non-spontaneous. Then the process is non-spontaneous. Both the factors are unfavorable, then the process is non-spontaneous. And third point is, if one of the factor is favorable and other factor is unfavorable, then the spontaneity depends on the extent of the favorable factor. Depends on the extent of the favorable factor. For example, dissolution of KCl in water. Dissolution of potassium chloride, KCl in water. Here one of the factor is unfavorable. that is change in enthalpy is positive, but the disorder is more. Disorder factor is more the favorable. Disorder factor is more favorable, so the process is spontaneous. So on the basis of enthalpy change and disorder, 3 points we have taken into consideration. In first point, if both the factors are favorable, means change in enthalpy is negative and the randomness is more, the process is spontaneous. And in second point, if change in enthalpy is positive and randomness is less, the process is non-spontaneous. And in third case, if change in enthalpy is positive and randomness is more, means one of the factor is favorable and another factor is unfavorable, and the extent of favorable factor determines the process is spontaneous or not. So here the randomness is more or disorder is more in case of dissolution of KCl in water. The one factor is favorable, so therefore the process is spontaneous. Next factor is entropy and spontaneity. What is entropy? Entropy is the measure of degree of randomness of the system. If randomness is more, entropy will be more. For example, on the basis of entropy, how we are explaining the given process is spontaneous or not. So entropy is denoted by the S. Entropy is nothing but it is a measure of degree of randomness of the system. If randomness is more, the entropy will be higher. The one of the point we are considering here, change in entropy of the total. Change in entropy of total system is positive, means greater than 0. Is positive, means greater than 0, then the process is spontaneous. For the spontaneous process, the change in entropy of a total system is greater than 0, means positive, the process is spontaneous. So on the basis of enthalpy and entropy, we cannot determine the process is spontaneous. So another factor also we have taken into consideration, that is Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy or free energy change we are considering to explain the spontaneous processes. So Gibbs free energy, it is denoted by Gibbs free energy, it is denoted by G. What is Gibbs free energy? The amount of energy available for the system to perform the useful work. The amount of energy available for the system to perform the useful work is called the Gibbs free energy, and it is denoted by G. So Z is equal to H minus Ts. H is the enthalpy and S is the entropy at a temperature T. Then delta Z is equal to delta H minus delta into T. Yes, delta Z is equal to delta H minus T delta S, S delta T at constant temperature. At constant temperature, delta T is equal to 0, then delta Z is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Consider it as an equation 1. This equation is called Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. This equation is called Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. The Gibbs free energy is nothing but the amount of energy available for the system to perform the useful work. On the basis of this change in Gibbs free energy, how we can conclude that the given process is spontaneous or not? Again, 3 factors we are considering. First one, delta Z is less than 0. Delta Z is less than 0, then free energy decreases. Free energy decreases, the process is spontaneous. the process is spontaneous. If delta G is less than 0, the free energy decreases, the process is spontaneous. And second factor, delta G is equal to 0, the process is at equilibrium. The process is at equilibrium state. And third factor, if delta Z is greater than 0, delta Z is greater than 0, delta Z means change in free energy is greater than 0, free energy increases and the process is non-spontaneous. The process is non-spontaneous. So on the basis of Gibbs free energy, we are concluding that the given process is spontaneous or not. So if change in free energy is less than 0, if change in free energy is less than 0, then free energy decreases, then the process is spontaneous. If change in free energy delta Z is equal to 0, then the process is at equilibrium. And if change in free energy delta G is greater than 0, then free energy increases, the process is non-spontaneous. So whether a given process is spontaneous or not, on the basis of three factors we are considering. One is enthalpy change, another one is entropy change, another one is Gibbs free energy. So on the basis of enthalpy change, if the process is exothermic, the reaction is spontaneous. But some of the endothermic reactions are also spontaneous. So another factor we have taken into consideration, that is disorder and then entropy. If the entropy of the system is less than 0 or positive, then the process is spontaneous. And one more factor we have taken into consideration to explain the spontaneous process, that is Gibbs free energy factor. If change in Gibbs free energy is less than 0, the free energy decreases, the process is spontaneous. If change in Gibbs free energy is equal to 0, the process is at equilibrium state. And if change in Gibbs free energy is greater than 0, the free energy increases, the process is non-spontaneous. Second law of thermodynamics. What is the statement for the second law of thermodynamics? The entropy of the universe increasing continuously as a result of spontaneous processes. What is the statement? The entropy of the universe increasing continuously as a result of spontaneous processes. So this is a statement of the second law of thermodynamics. The entropy of the universe increasing continuously as a result of spontaneous processes, or the entropy of the isolated system increasing as a result of spontaneous processes. So already we have discussed what is the entropy, how the entropy factor determines whether the process is spontaneous or not, and what are spontaneous processes we discussed already. So what is the statement for the second law of thermodynamics? The entropy of the universe increasing continuously as a result of spontaneous processes. And then after the second law of thermodynamics, which are the outcomes of the second law of thermodynamics? First one, the direction of flow of heat. The second law of thermodynamics helps us to determine the direction of flow of heat. The direction of flow of heat. The second law of thermodynamics helps us to determine the direction of flow of heat, whether the heat flows in which direction. The heat flows from hot region to the colder region. So it will be able to differentiate with the help of second law of thermodynamics. And then whether the process is spontaneous or not. with the help of second law of thermodynamics, we will be able to differentiate the process is spontaneous or non-spontaneous, and we will be able to study the equilibrium state. Equilibrium state. It gives the information about the equilibrium states. These are the outcomes of the second law of thermodynamics. As earlier we studied that the first law of thermodynamics. In first law of thermodynamics, we cannot know that the direction of flow of heat. It does not explain the direction of flow of heat. But the second law of thermodynamics explains the direction of flow of heat, and whether the given process is spontaneous or non-spontaneous, we will be able to distinguish with the help of the second law of thermodynamics, and whether the process is in equilibrium or not, is it in equilibrium state or not, we will be able to differentiate or distinguish with the help of second law of thermodynamics. Thermochemistry. Thermochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with energy change in chemical reactions. Thermochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with energy change in chemical reactions, which deals with the energy change in chemical reactions. So thermochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the energy change in a chemical reactions, and the energy change in chemical reactions is due to the change in bond energy, that is the potential energy as a result of breaking of bond or as a result of the formation of bond in a chemical reaction. And majorly two type of reactions we will study in thermochemistry. Those are exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. As already we discussed in the case of enthalpy, then also we will once again see what are exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. For example, exothermic reactions, we'll take the example of carbon, oxygen, change in enthalpy is minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole. So exothermic reactions are the reactions where the heat is liberated. The change in enthalpy is negative. The reaction is carbon, solid carbon, or the combustion of carbon you can take. The carbon combines with the atmospheric oxygen to give the carbon dioxide gas. So to take place this process, the change in enthalpy, the energy will be liberated. So that liberated energy will be minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole. And to explain the endothermic reactions, we will take the example. If a steam reacts with carbon monoxide gas and hydrogen gas will be liberated. The change in enthalpy is positive, that is 131.5 kilojoule per mole. So endothermic reactions are the reactions where heat is absorbed. To explain this reaction, we have taken the example when steam reacts with solid carbon. 1 mole of steam reacts with 1 mole of solid carbon. Carbon monoxide gas and hydrogen gas will be evaporated. So liberated. So what happens? The change in enthalpy is positive because the heat is absorbed. That heat absorbed will be 131.5 kilojoule per mole. So what is thermochemistry? Thermochemistry deals with the energy change in a chemical reactions. That is called the thermochemistry. The change in energy is due to the change in bond energy, that is due to potential energy, due to the breaking of bond or due to the formation of the bonds. And two types of reactions majorly we have studied in thermochemistry, exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions means where heat will be liberated. Endothermic reactions means where heat will be absorbed.